Welcome to the Reinvented Life with Pamela Chanel David. Do you want to step up your game? Pursue your dreams. Be the best version of yourself. The Reinvented Life is here to help. The Reinvented Life is about courage. It's about staying relevant. It takes grit. It defies gravity. It's about taking inventory of where you are today and where you want to go. Embrace change. Make things possible and reinvent your life. Call in with questions at 888-994-4995. Now, it's time to reinvent your life with Pamela Chanel.
Well, good morning from San Francisco, California. I hope you are all having a beautiful start to your week. This is Pamela Chanel David. I'm the founder of the Reinvented Life Network and the author of the Reinvented Life book. And today, we're really going to talk about breaking some habits. And I think it's a topic that everyone thinks about, doesn't know how to do, and we just get back to the default settings of our life. So having this time with you this morning, I'm going to take you back to basics. I'm going to start by reading from the Reinvented Life book and then talk about how to get there. I thought that would be a fun and interesting show for everyone. So the Reinvented Life book, as you can see actually on the front of the book, really starts with the hummingbird. And the hummingbird is very significant because it's the only known bird that can not only fly forwards, but it also can fly backward and it can fly sideways. So the point is, no matter where you are in life, you feel like you're soaring forward, or you feel like you're falling back a little, or you feel like you're just kind of hovering in place. The hummingbird teaches us that if you're staying in motion, you're actually being able to have an impact on your own life. So I am going to start with actually the end of the book, because this is a goal of where most people want to get to. And if we start with where we want to be, we'll talk about breaking the habits that are keeping us from getting there. So the section of the book I'm reading from is at the end. It's called Give the Gift of Yourself. And that's really what this is all about, is how do we give the gift of ourselves into the world? And so in this section, I say that the river of life mirrors the rush of water in nature. We owe it to ourselves and to the universe to give back and to be everlasting in our gifts. Your gifts are yours alone to give. They are precious and unique. It is each person's choice, however, to be open enough to receive the gifts that are being offered. We're going to talk about receiving here in a minute. It requires humility. It requires thoughtfulness, and it is through the thoughtfulness that change and evolution can happen. It is through the thoughtfulness that every man can honor every woman, that every woman can honor every man, and that all adults can honor every child. It is through the same thoughtfulness that every race can honor each other. It's through the receiving of these gifts and the wisdom of where others that the taking of the learning happens. The discernment of behaviors that are for the betterment and good of societies and surroundings. The cycle can then normalize again. Then humanity can focus not just on preservation, but on growth. That growth will make for boundless sphere enveloping us all. When protected by the sphere, we protect ourselves, humanity, to a level vaster than the land, the ocean, and the stars. Go with love, I write. We are human beings who make decisions every day on how we spend the seconds, the minutes, the days, the weeks, the months, and the years that we have. When we spend the time in the most purposeful way to us, then we activate more energy into the world. Ultimately, the reinvention as the center of our own world means elevating and to love others. The simple message of this book is that the human spirit has endless capacity to shift, evolve, and reinvent. It is through this reinvention that we can come to terms with loving ourselves and letting our spirit sing. Much like the birds from the treetops, like the waves in the water against the shore, like the cricket in the night sky, like the dove flying in peace. So soft yet powerful are the wings of who we choose and who chooses to soar, and how sweet is the sound from those hearts open to receive the wisdom of the earth. And that's from the Reinvented Life book. I am so excited to read you this because it has been, I'm going to say, about a year and a half that I've read from that book during one of these podcasts. So again, welcome to the Reinvented Life. And the Reinvented Life, just the name itself, stems from the word event. So we constantly want to be inventing. My story, for those of you that are listening that don't know, is the reinvention started with my physical health. I had a corporate career, a family, community activities I was participating in, everything you would want at the time to take care of. In that process, I completely abandoned myself and my health. In fact, I had lost the complete connection between my body and my soul and who I was showing up. I was operating actually what I thought was outside of my body, and abandoned my health to such an extent that I was given a year to live. And this was a decade ago. So in the process of reclaiming my health, I was obese. I had blood pressure through the roof, cholesterol issues, blood pressure that was so high, it was scary. And in the process of reclaiming my health and in the process of losing the weight so that I could put less pressure on my body, I discovered actually who I was. And having lost over 170 pounds at this point, and finding out the limiting beliefs that I was carrying with me to assist me along the way. The fact that I was caring for no reason at all, that I wasn't athletic, that I wasn't fit, that I couldn't live a healthy lifestyle, were just stories I had been telling myself. And I bring this up because how many of us just tell ourselves stories that actually become real? We live into stories that are not necessarily even relevant in our lives anymore, or perhaps never were. But they become a narrative that we live by. We create habits around them. And so in the process of reclaiming that health, I had to, as I mentioned in that book passage, I had to have discernment. I had to figure out what was real and what wasn't real. Was I really not athletic? Did I really not have the ability to live a healthy lifestyle? Of course not. I was able to. I just hadn't given myself that breaking of that habit. And so that's why it's important when I establish the protocols, when I establish a procedure of how to do this, that I share this. And this is what I do in my business coaching, and this is what I do in my life coaching, is help people take a look at what habits they have that are healthy and what habits we have that aren't even relevant, that we want to kick to the curb, and most importantly, how to do it. And there's actually 5 steps in doing this. And when you conquer these 5 steps, you can stop the doings in your life, because we're not human doings, we're human beings. And so you can start to live into your highest level of being. And that is by breaking the habits that aren't serving you. So let's kick these habits to the curb by starting with the first step. And we're going to go through 5 of them. The first stage of this is adopt the thought that you want to have. For me, it was pretty big at given a year to live. I had to adopt a thought that I'm capable of living a healthy lifestyle. And I had to adopt a thought that I was going to embrace my health versus abandon it. So oftentimes, what successes we're going to have actually live in the disbeliefs. Our disbeliefs are oftentimes the key to our successes. And so I had to live into a disbelief that I had, which is I could be a healthy being. I could live a fit lifestyle. I could adjust what I ate. I could adjust how I move my body. I could adopt, embrace, as I say, the fact that I was my body versus something outside of it, of where I had put it. That is the first stage, because the thoughts that we have then have correlative actions to that. So whatever it is, wherever you want to go on the map in your own life, start with that thought. The actions that come with that may be different than you're used to, but they will be correlative or in agreement with or in alignment with what that new thought is. And once you start on repeat, taking those actions along with those new thoughts, you start to move into phase 2, which is adopting a habit. Typically, there's a measurement about 21 days plus or minus one can adopt a new habit. But depending on how long you've lived into something, depending upon how long it's been to the core of your being, if you've reached 21 days and you're not able to make the change, then take it on for another 21 days. Take it on after that for another 21 days. Because somewhere between 21 days and 90 days, which is a season, you will be able to do for yourself where you want to be. In other words, you do it until it becomes a habit of being it. Because again, we're human beings. And somewhere in that first season of this adoption, you will start to create new habits. New habits create what? New routines. So now you have routines in your life. That is the third stage of this process. And the fourth stage is actually a way of being or a lifestyle. So now you have a new thought that has correlative actions. They become habits. These habits are collections that come together as routines. You have become a new lifestyle for yourself, and a lifestyle is just a collection of those routines, to the point that whatever you are focused on will then become your way of being. So as simple as that sounds, I had to learn And I'd encourage you all to learn to break that down into those steps. Because again, to reinvent one's life, we have to be like this hummingbird is. As we look at this hummingbird, we realize we're going to be flying forward. Sometimes we feel like there's no stopping us. And then there's a curveball. We don't want to default into that curveball. We want to be able to pivot, to get out of autopilot, to shift gears and move forward again. And so if we're flying backwards a little bit, have grace for ourselves. It's okay. It is okay. And oftentimes we feel like we're not moving at all. We're just hovering there, kind of moving side to side. And that is why this hummingbird is everything to do with reinventing. Today, I take all those limiting beliefs and have converted every single solitary one of them into reinventing my own life, so I can then reinvent others. And that's the beauty, because the movement that comes along with reinventing yourself enables you to do it over and over and over again. And now it's become much more for me than just reinventing the physical aspects of my life. Because in this process of discovery, here it is, 10 years out of being told I had a year to live. And now it's about, am I in alignment? Am I in purpose? My life has gone from focused on how do I overcome this and continue my life in the most elevated and I would call it, I guess, positive way forward, to bringing forward other people. It's so beyond me now, because what I've realized is that it is these stories of inspiration, of people that have overcome things, that enable additional light, additional energies, higher frequencies into the world. And now I've taken this reinvention process and I've coined this term now, I've become this show junkie, because I am interested way beyond myself how to bring the stories, people's passions, people's businesses forward into the world. And that's why it's way beyond the Reinvented Life show now. It's a network where people can come forward, collaborate together, of similar missions, of similar purposes, of similar goodness that they want to bring into this world as a contribution and as a huge light. So that is my mission now. It has reinvented one more time in many ways. For myself personally, my reinvention process is to go even deeper with my connection with my body, to realize what is it, even though the physical weight I have shed, what other weight am I carrying? What other things do we carry around in our bodies that keep us from becoming our most vibrant selves? So I'm reinventing again, exploring new modalities, exploring how to become most aligned with my soul and with my purpose. And then it's reinventing my business again to the point that I can help others do the same, to find renewed confidence in themselves, to find renewed alignment in themselves, to find more purpose in their businesses, in their livelihoods, and bringing that forward onto a media network that is there for them to conveniently and easily do so. Because one of the things most of my clients discover in their businesses and in their life is that they have overcomplicated things. Life has taken such a toll, and we've actually allowed the absorption of so many things in our histories, in our lives, in our families, in our day-to-day work to absorb in. It's like a sponge. We need to take that sponge, squeeze it, and let all of what we've let absorb into our bodies go. And that is done through physical modalities. So that's what I now am engaging in. I want to know, what else have I kept all these years that is still holding me back to some extent? Why? Because it allows me to become the highest version of myself and to then coach and allow others. If anyone wants to have any kind of, complimentary, of course, discussion at first on how I may help you, get in touch with me. info@thereinventedlife.com. info@thereinventedlife.com is my email. Get in touch with me. Because when we become the highest versions of ourselves, we're able to see that there are not the limits. Along with everything else, the hummingbird is the highest flying bird there is. There are no limits. They have been known and documented to fly tens of thousands of feet. That's what the goal is. That's, as a show junkie, what I want to do is help and inspire people to bring their stories forward, what they've overcome, what they want to overcome, how they want to overcome it. And whether it's personal coaching on a weekly basis with me or monthly coaching, I have both programs. Get in touch with me and let's put a plan together or have a discussion of what resources I have that you could work with to reach your own business and life goals. Because even on the back of the book, I put what you allow and who you allow around your life's table will determine the speed and the extent of your reinvention. So it's very important to take a look at all these aspects of your life and doing it together with someone, to have an alignment partner, an authenticity partner with you along the way can become an invaluable resource and an invaluable source. For years, I looked at accountability partners. I looked at, how do I become accountable for what I'm doing and vice versa? How can I help people become accountable for what they're doing? But at the end of the day, haven't we all started a lot of things? And then we found ourselves not following up on it. Why? Because it wasn't authentically who we wanted to be. And so when you move that accountability partners in your life to an authenticity partner, to someone that can actually understand where you've been, what limiting beliefs you may be having, and they're hidden. We don't even see them. They could be right in plain sight and still be hidden. But when you take that and you find out who you authentically are, and that's my passion, is to bring people forward to who they authentically are. You not only are giving the gifts but you're allowing the gift so freely to go out there that most importantly, you're allowing yourself to receive. And that is one of the most important things one can do is receive the learnings, receive the teachings, receive the partnerships, receive for yourself the most authentic part of who you are. It's a beautiful transformation, and what happens is it happens seamlessly. And you learn, like I mentioned in the last passage of my book, when you soar like a bird, when you fly like a hummingbird, when you are fluid in your life, to be able to embrace that change so easily that it flows like the rush of the waves on the shore, you truly are able to find yourself in a more peaceful and meaningful life. I wish everyone a beautiful week. Thanks for tuning in, for watching and listening to this podcast. And know that all is possible when you become the human being, the beautiful human being that you are, and not just the human doing. Wishing everyone a beautiful day, a beautiful week. Can't wait to be back with you next week on The Reinvented Life.
Thank you for tuning in to The Reinvented Life with Pamela Chanel David. Tune in each week so we can work and grow together to become the best version of ourselves. Keep striving, keep dreaming, keep working, and embrace change. You may contact Pamela Chanel at info@thereinventedlife.com.